Hello, dear friends. Welcome to the world of quiet stories about love and subtle rebellion against life's traditions. Today, we'll once again dive into the intertwining of human fates, where every decision leaves a mark on the heart. In the heart of a strict Orthodox Jewish community in North London, there exists a fragile balance between devotion and the suffocating weight of tradition. This world is characterized by unwavering beliefs, steadfast roles, and a culture that demands conformity. Within this rigid society, two women, Ronit and Esti, grapple with emotions and desires that defy the very foundation of their upbringing. Their story is a poignant exploration of love, identity, and the quiet rebellion that emerges when one dares to challenge societal expectations. Ronit, a woman who once belonged to this Orthodox Jewish community, left years ago to seek freedom from its constraints. She pursued a life far removed from the strict traditions she grew up with, carving out a career as a photographer in New York. Her decision to leave was not only an act of physical departure but also a rejection of the values that governed her upbringing. Yet, despite her years away, Ronit's connection to this world was never fully severed. Her father, Rav Krushka, was a highly revered rabbi and a key figure in the community. His sudden passing brings Ronit back to the very place she had once sought to escape. As she returns for her father's funeral, Ronit is met with a mix of coldness and curiosity. To the community, she is both a prodigal daughter and a ghost from the past, an embodiment of everything they fear and reject. Her presence stirs old tensions, not only for herself but for those who remained behind. Esti, on the other hand, never left. She stayed within the community, adhering to the expectations placed upon her. Married to David, Ronit's childhood friend and her father's protege, Esti's life is seemingly rooted in stability and devotion to her faith. Yet, beneath her calm exterior lies a heart that has been yearning for something more, something that was once awakened in her past. Years ago, Esti and Ronit shared a deep, intimate bond, one that defied the norms of their religious community. Their love was forbidden, silenced, and eventually buried. Esti's decision to remain within the confines of tradition was both an act of survival and resignation, a way to suppress the desires that could never be openly expressed in their world. Now, with Ronit's return, Esti finds herself once again confronted with emotions she had long tried to forget. The rekindling of Ronit and Esti's relationship lies at the core of this narrative. What begins as an uneasy reunion soon evolves into something much deeper. The chemistry between the two women is undeniable, and their shared history creates a magnetic pull. But this is not a tale of wild passion or reckless abandon. Rather, it is a quiet, restrained exploration of love that has been suppressed for far too long. In the privacy of their interactions, Ronit and Esti begin to rediscover the connection they once had. The story does not rely on grand romantic gestures but instead allows the small moments, fleeting glances, hesitant touches, whispered conversations, to convey the depth of their feelings. There is a tenderness in the way they come together, a sense of both familiarity and hesitation, as if they are navigating a fragile territory where any misstep could lead to disaster. Yet, the weight of their past and the present reality cannot be ignored. For Ronit, this encounter is a reminder of why she left in the first place, while for Esti, it is a confrontation with everything she has sacrificed to maintain her life within the community. Their love is not only forbidden by tradition but also fraught with the potential to unravel the delicate balance of their lives. At the center of this emotional turmoil is David, Esti's husband and Ronit's former friend. David is a man deeply committed to his faith and his community. He has been groomed to take on the mantle of leadership following the death of Rav Krushka, and his devotion to his role is unwavering. Yet, he is not portrayed as a villain or an antagonist in the story. Instead, David is a complex character who genuinely cares for both Esti and Ronit, even as he grapples with the implications of their rekindled relationship. David's love for Esti is evident, but it is a love shaped by duty and obligation rather than passion. His relationship with her is one of companionship and respect, but it lacks the emotional intensity that exists between Esti and Ronit. As he begins to sense the growing distance between himself and his wife, David is forced to confront difficult questions about love, faith, and sacrifice. In many ways, David's character embodies the struggle between tradition and personal desire. He is a man who has built his life around the tenets of his faith, yet he finds himself increasingly torn between his duty to the community and his desire to protect those he loves. His internal conflict mirrors the broader themes of the story, as all three characters wrestle with the tension between individual identity and communal expectations. One of the most powerful aspects of this tale is its depiction of the Orthodox Jewish community. The narrative does not vilify religion or tradition, but instead presents a nuanced portrayal of a world where faith is both a source of strength and a source of constraint. The rituals, the customs, and the sense of belonging are all integral to the lives of the characters, yet they also serve as a barrier to personal freedom. For Esti, the community represents both safety and confinement. Her decision to remain within its boundaries was a choice made out of fear and obligation, but it also provided her with a sense of purpose. She teaches at a religious school, guiding young girls on the path of faith, and her marriage to David offers her a stable, if emotionally distant, life. However, as her feelings for Ronit resurface, Esti begins to question whether she can continue to live a life that denies her true self. Ronit, having left the community years ago, views it with a mixture of nostalgia and disdain. She recognizes the beauty in the rituals and the strength of the community's bonds, but she also understands the suffocating nature of its expectations. Her return forces her to confront the unresolved emotions tied to her past, particularly her relationship with her father, who was both a source of love and the embodiment of the rigid beliefs she rejected. This story is not one of loud defiance or overt rebellion. Instead, it explores the quiet, internal struggles of its characters as they wrestle with their identities and their place in the world. The rebellion in the narrative is subtle, manifested not in grand acts of defiance but in small moments of courage and vulnerability. For Esti, the act of embracing her love for Ronit is a deeply personal rebellion against the life she has been forced to lead. It is a choice that comes at great personal cost, as it threatens to upend not only her marriage but also her place within the community. Yet, in choosing to follow her heart, Esti reclaims a part of herself that she had long buried. Ronit's rebellion, on the other hand, is more existential. Her decision to leave the community years ago was an act of defiance, but her return forces her to confront the lingering questions of belonging and identity. Is she still the person who rejected the constraints of her upbringing, or has she been shaped by those very constraints in ways she cannot fully escape? At its core, this narrative is about the collision of love and faith. The two women at the center of the story are bound by both their shared history and their deep-seated beliefs, yet those very beliefs are what threaten to tear them apart. The tale does not offer easy answers or a neat resolution to the tension between personal desire and religious obligation. In the end, the characters must make difficult choices about who they are and what they are willing to sacrifice for love. For Esti, the decision to embrace her love for Ronit is a radical act of self-acceptance, but it also comes with the painful realization that she can no longer live within the confines of her community. Ronit, too, must come to terms with the fact that her return to the past may not provide the closure she seeks, but rather a deeper understanding of the complexity of her emotions. This story lingers in the quiet moments, where the weight of unspoken emotions hangs heavy in the air. The performances by the actors are subtle yet powerful, capturing the internal struggles of their characters with a depth that transcends words. The visual style, with its muted color palette and intimate cinematography, further enhances the sense of emotional restraint that permeates the narrative. Ultimately, this tale is a poignant exploration of the tension between duty and desire, faith and love, tradition and identity. It is a story about the choices we make and the consequences they carry, both for ourselves and for those we love. In the end, it leaves us with the understanding that love, in all its forms, is both a gift and a burden, a force that can bring us together or tear us apart, depending on how we choose to embrace it. Dear friends, thank you so much for spending time with us. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you won't miss new stories. We'll see you again soon.